and his subsequent court victory. Mr. Kaihura, Major General, gets Inspector General Police gets another term in office that takes him to 2014. That's 3 years from now. We'll talk about the Public Order Management Bill, which has finally been tabled in Parliament. If you have a meeting of more than 3 people, going beyond 6, you have to inform the Inspector General of Police. We'll also talk about the end of the Libyan conflict, the apparent end of the Libyan conflict. Gaddafi was killed. One of his sons, together with another military official, were buried in unmarked graves deep in the desert sands. One of his sons says he now wants the previously had been known as the heir apparent. He says he wants to be added into the ICC, that's the International Criminal Court. Our guests tonight, Honorable Roland Mugume Kajinda, Member of Parliament for Rukungiri Municipality. You're most welcome, Honorable Kajinda.
Thank you very much.
We're also joined by Mr. David Mushabe from the Mushabe and Munungu Company Advocates Group. You're most welcome, Mr. Mushabe.
Thank you, Edmond, for inviting me.
We also expect to be joined by Mr. David Mafabi, Private Secretary in charge of Political Affairs and Institutions at State House. Honorable Kajinda, the ad hoc committee has been named. It's been given 3 months to surrender, to give a report. Do you think it's going to deliver within that period of time?
Thank you very much, and good evening, listeners. It is a good question, but before I answer this question, I want first of all to thank my colleagues, members of Parliament, especially members of Parliament, who came up with a petition to call back the Parliament because we are in a recess when we came to discuss these issues related to oil. Honorable Sechikono, Honorable Katuntu, Honorable Karuhanga, Honorable Nwagaba, and Honorable Muhammad Nsereko. I want to thank my colleagues because it was not easy. Secondly, yesterday I was in Parliament when the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Wright, Honorable Kadaga, read the names on the committee to probe the oil saga. Listeners, I want to thank the Speaker of Parliament because everybody in this country and even outside this country is listening and watching what we are going to do. So before, as I've said before I answer this question, I want to read the committee's terms of reference.
Yes, very briefly.
Which the Speaker read to us. First, to investigate the matters related to the regularization of the oil sector, claims of bribery in the oil sector, because there are some senior members of cabinet, Honorable Mbabazi Kutesa, Honorable Mbabazi Kutesa, and Honorable Hilary Oneki. These are senior members of cabinet in this country. Then the committee will go on to examine the process of procurement of companies involved in the oil sector and critically examine the agreements executed between the government of Uganda and companies in the oil industry. It will include also studying the memorandum of understanding executed between the URA and Taro Uganda Limited, which are explained in March 2011. Lastly, there are many, but these are I've just picked the core.
Yes.
On Wednesday, the Minister of Energy presented to Parliament the production sharing agreements for 9 companies the government was dealing with. This is the core.
Right.
Why members of Parliament came out with a petition. We wanted to know, as members of Parliament, what is inside oil.
Yes.
Because oil is an important thing for the people of Uganda. And I can assure you that very day on 12th this month, it was a great day for all Ugandans and the
Yes.
Parliament of Uganda.
Right.
So, listeners, on Wednesday, 9 agreements
You are tabled in Parliament.
we are tabled in Parliament.
Yes.
But, yes, we are happy we saw them, but not yet. Our struggle still continues because we want to know what is inside.
So do you expect them to deliver? Or do you trust the committee?
That's what I wanted. From there I wanted to come to the question.
Right.
To me, right now I don't want to preempt the committee from the Parliament, what the Parliament has done. What I know, the public is watching.
Yes.
Everybody is watching. All Ugandans are watching, as I've said. Even people outside this country, they are watching. Because since we started this debate on oil, everybody has been listening and watching what is happening. So it's up to this committee to answer this question.
All right. But in your view, do you think they can deliver? Looking at it from the outside.
To me, I don't think they will not.
They won't deliver.
Because they are tied up.
By what?
When this petition was brought into Parliament, after we saw many activities
Like what?
going on, we started to see retreats being organized.
Yes.
Chankwazi. From there, we saw our colleagues walking to State House in Entebbe. All these things, why do you hurry after they have tabled such a petition, and which is important to all Ugandans?
So, but
So from there,
that's the position members, Hussein Chanjo, Cecilia Ogwal.
yes, they are there. But there are 7 members.
And these are only two.
There are only 2. Another member is from independent.
Yes.
So we don't, as I've said,
You don't trust them.
me right now, I can't say they are going to deliver
anything.
because what is happening on the ground, really, the environment itself
The wind is blowing in another.
shows that they are tied up.
Mr. Mushabe.
Thank you, Edmond. I like what the Honorable Member of Parliament has presented so far. Now, what has been intriguing to me is that some of the members of Parliament, even the members of the ruling party, have been arguing that you cannot present these agreements because they would jeopardize the security of the country. Now, the West, the whole of Europe and America already knows the quantities we have. They know how long they will last. They actually know even the kind of agreements we signed. It is only the citizens of the Republic of Uganda who are in total darkness. They don't know what kind of agreements we signed. They don't know the volumes we have. They don't know how the country is going to benefit. So, to me, I find that as a diversionary argument. There's nothing there's nothing that jeopardizes the country's security or national security in those agreements, except what needs to be done is tell the citizens of this country whether they are going to benefit from these agreements or not. Now, first of all, Edmond, we know that in developing countries where they have discovered oil, the trend has been that those who discover oil, they sell to another group. They recoup their money and astronomical profits. The next group sells to another company or to another group of companies. They also recoup their money. In the final analysis, the country which has the oil never benefits from it. I have heard about the retreats. The retreats, they are quite suspect. Why call the retreats? The retreats, for me, actually, I pity my brother Hussein Chanjo and Honorable Cecilia Ogwal. They, at best, the most they can do is writing a minority report. The majority, which comes from the establishment, is going to say there was nothing wrong with those gentlemen who are implicated in wrongdoing in the whole business. So I share my view with the Honorable Member of Parliament that Honorable Useni Changi and Honorable Sisi Ogwal, they are going to write a minority report. And usually, in democratic settings, it is the majority which takes the day. So here, they are already outnumbered, so we shouldn't expect much. We have had rumors, and probably the Honorable Member of Parliament can substantiate that after the retreat, some members of Parliament found 100 million on their accounts, 200 million on their account, and other unspecified amounts on their accounts. Where did this money come from? Did it come from Santa Claus for the Christmas? Where did it come from? And the timing is quite suspect. The other issue we should think about is probably that after the commission or this ad hoc committee presents its report, is there going to be a difference, or the difference is going to be the same? Like we used to argue, when I used to participate in high school debates, we used to have this word: the difference is the same.
Right.
The difference is going to be the same. Most commissions of inquiries, just like ad hoc committees, they tend to pacify the public, but they never solve the problem.
Right.
So what we are looking at, and the best we can hope for, is pacification of the public. You pacify them, they say, okay, something was done.
So what do you think should have been done?
What should have been done is at least to look for a committee that is well balanced, not necessarily dominated by the establishment.
But the NRM is the majority in the House, so they take forceps.
At least they should have picked retired judges. Then,
well, it's a subcommittee of Parliament, so it has to be.
Subcommittee of Parliament. We saw what they did, in the past committees.
Right.
Once money exchanges hands and
you
all
say
that,
people got hundreds of millions on their accounts, so you think their minds are already set.
What do you expect from them? The Muganda says that Ariata Yogel.
He who pays the piper. Honorable Mugume, very briefly, do you think the ministers not leaving their offices will influence it? Very briefly for more forward.
Definitely, yes, they will influence, because as Parliament, for us in our resolutions, we wanted these ministers step aside so that they can give these people, honorable members who are going to investigate, to do their job thoroughly. If you see what is happening now, these, as I've said, these are senior members of cabinet, and they hold important ministries. A prime minister is a very important person in this country. If you are investigating a prime minister and he is in a chair, what can you do?
It's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult.
All right.
And we that's why I've said
you're very pessimistic.
We hope for the best for this committee.
May I add something?
Very briefly,
Edmond. In Africa, we have a problem.
Yes.
We don't have, at least here in Uganda, what I know, we don't have a word for honor.
Yes.
The words we have that we try to apply to honor are talking about fear. Those things are talking about fear. That's why some of these honorable members, when they go to Parliament, they demand that they must be feared. They demand respect. They don't feel that they must deserve respect and honor.
Right.
That is the genesis of our problems. So we have a hangover of aristocracy and kingship.
All right. Let's move forward. The Dr. Chizabe's house arrest. He was incarcerated in his own house for many days. Yesterday he emerged victorious from the Kasangati court, which ruled that it was illegal for the police to detain him at his home, a place which is not gazetted as a detention center. The court advised the police to desist from such measures in the future, although it ruled that the arrest of Dr. Besigye by the police was lawful. Besigye, however, has vowed to walk again, and police say they will deal with it. Honorable Kajinda, what do you read in this?
Thank you very much. Listeners, I want to assure everybody in this country that Dr. Besigye has a right to walk. And where it is clear. And sometimes when you see the police tear gassing people, you ask yourself, really, what kind of police is this? I'm happy with the court ruling yesterday.
Yes.
I was very happy. the court said that detention described by police as preventive arrest.
Yes.
In fact, is a no to this country. We are not used to this arrest.
Yes.
It was unlawful because, first of all, Messenger is at his home. And his home is not a gazetted detention center.
Yes.
So it was unlawful, first of all, for the police to arrest BCJ in his home. And moreover, it was beyond 48 exactly 48 hours.
And they're not feeding him, they're not giving him any food.
Anything. And this is an individual.
And some of the people who brought food were sent away.
President of a party in this country,
yes.
And we know this is a multi-party system country.
Yes.
So really, you can see really where we have reached in this country.
And he complained that they were soiling his compound.
Of course, yes.
University students donated some toiletries.
And I was really happy. I want to thank the people from Makerere, the students from Makerere. They know because they are seeing what is happening in this country. And I want to thank them for donating the pot and the bucket for them because they were there.
They were stranded.
And even people were saying, I am not saying, I am not that.
Well, but the director complained about his compound.
Yes,
and
we saw all types of insects. So,
Mr. Mushabe, talk to us about this. Do you think police will leave this gentleman alone?
No, they won't. And simply because, and last week I was here, Edmond.
Yes.
And what I said was that Section 24 of the Police Act allows the police to do so. Yes. It says if they suspect you to be harmful to yourself, they prevent you from being harmful to yourself.
Right.
They will arrest you.
Yes.
If they think you are going to disorganize public order and all that, they arrest you.
Yes.
And that section talks about preventive arrest.
It's lawful, yes.
It is lawful in
yes.
in that respect. I think it is Section 37 of the Police Act, which says that if there is an unlawful assembly and there is an attempt to disband that assembly and somebody dies, the police is not responsible. My challenge to the Parliament is one. Can they table a bill to amend those particular sections that are oppressive and draconian? If they cannot amend those sections, then they should not be saying, oh, this is unlawful, this is unlawful. You see, what the police does, they just follow what is on the books. Constitutionally, though, it is unlawful. Because you have a right of assembly, you have a right of association, you have a right of movement and all that. That, to me, seemingly, those sections are contravening that constitution, that constitutional provision. So the onus is on Parliament now to say, look, we don't want to give a police a blank check. It is like putting your signature and you give somebody a check and you say, put in any amount you so please.
Right.
So my brother here, the honorable member, point out those sections of the Police Act. They are no longer active in Europe. They are no longer active in USA.
And they've been silent here for a long time.
Here they've been silent, but they invoke them when it is convenient.
All right, let's move forward. Let's talk about Major General Kaihura, the overseer of the police force. He's been seconded for another term of office. Are you happy, Honorable Kajinda?
Definitely, I'm not.
Why?
Because first of all, what have been taking place in this country, and if you compare early 90s, the police we had, even the time of Major General Katumba Wamala,
yes,
you could see discipline within police force.
And now?
But today, to me, I think I call it indiscipline because, like for example, what is in front of us today is about this walk to work. Somebody is walking. So now in Uganda, if you are a member of parliament or you are like a lawyer like my brother here, Mushabe, if you are an important person in this country, you can't walk. That's what it is. Like for example, if you see, because I remember I heard and saw myself Major General Kaihura on TV, telling the whole world that Ingrid to now is going to be arrested.
And she was arrested.
And the IGP...
She committed treason. Together with some people who are working with bare arms, those ones also committed treason.
Mushabe is a lawyer by profession. Maybe he's going to help me to tell me really prison. Somebody is working, and you say he or she has committed a treason.
Mr. Mushabe,
it's very fair. Maybe you can add, but
gets another
really, you can't.
What kind of time? What kind of police do you think we're going to see in the next 3 years?
No, really, we are going to see the kind of police we have been seeing for the last 2 terms he has held office. He have not had the opportunity to appraise his, his performance, However, what is intriguing and actually concerning to me is that when there is something like that, freedom of work, freedom of assembly, there's some enormous power that is displayed and force that that reminds us of those old bad days.
Which bad days are you talking about? The colonial days or what?
No, even the colonial days. You remember the days of the Binaisas. So many people were rounded up here in Nakasero market and they are roughed up. So here, Section 24. Yes. The days of, say for example, Section 24 says that if the police has reasonable suspicion is subject to debate.
Yes.
Now here, I think the president one time said that one of his best cadres was the IGP.
Yes.
So we have an NRM cadre.
What's wrong with that?
He cannot be neutral. He will always be partial. Some people might say, what's wrong with that? Because the majority won the last 3 elections and the previous probably 3 elections. That's okay. The majority should control all these institutions. But that's a pork barrel system. It means that the winner takes it all. But when it comes to the police, it means this is a force that should be sensitive to both the opposition and those in government. It should be a neutral force.
This is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight we are reviewing the week, looking at the different issues. Oil, Dr. Vesje, Kale Kaihura. We'll go for a break. We'll be back. You two will be able to call in and contribute to this discussion. Do stay tuned to Spectrum.
Is your internet provider turning your world upside down? Broadband Company offers fast and reliable internet solutions. And for the first 100 subscribers this month, we offer 0 connection fees. Save up to 400,000. For more information on these offers, call toll-free 0800 222 111.
Broadband Company, more than you expect.
John, Mike and I, we go back a bit. We knew John at the beginning, working for someone else. But he was different. He had vision, saw opportunities. He started working towards his goal, opened his own garage, and worked, learning the hard way. His reputation spread. Trust, consistency, quality. Soon people were coming to him from all parts. He made himself and his whole street prosper, and also help friends, seeing potential in people and helping them on. But John never shouts about all his success. He's just who he is. Special.
So here's to one like John, who make a difference, who enjoy Now Special, the rich, satisfying taste flavor sauce. Now Special.
You've earned it. Not for sale to persons under 18.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Welcome back on Spectrum. Tonight we are reviewing the week. Our guests, Honorable Roland Mugume Kajinda, Shadow Minister for Public Service, also Rukungiri Municipality MP, and Mr. David Mushabe from the Mushabe and Munungu and Company Advocates Group. We're expected to be joined by Mr. David Mafabi. He's not been able to come. He's the private secretary to President Museveni in charge of political affairs and institutions. You'll be able to call in. I'll read out the numbers when that time comes. Mr. Mushabe, let's talk about the Public Order Management Bill. Government has finally tabled it, but human rights activists are complaining. They say the proposed law gives many powers to Mr. Kaihura and the line minister, that's Internal Affairs. They also think it's draconian and it's prohibitive. What's your reading of this bill? Well, basically it proposes that if 3 or more people want to meet, they must inform Mr. Kaihura, and the Minister of Internal Affairs can decide where public gatherings can be held.
But that one is already provided for in the Police Act.
Yes.
You see, sometimes I wonder who drafted these bills. It is already in existence. It is just going to be duplicative. The law